Good morning, 10:56 a.m., 7/18/2018. Happy Wednesday, people. My mom was a friend to that person, codename Nietzsche, whom you've heard probably up to the eyeballs about by now. But I'm not getting anything solved, you know. This ruined my life, okay? I face that every single day. All right? They don't budge on their thing. I've kept going on my end of it because as I go daily, other things emerge from that murky past, from 93 to 95. And keep in mind, I was medicated and fairly heavily for a lot of years, including those years. So that's coming out up from underneath the fog of medication. All right? So at first, Mom was totally against this. All right? Two strangers in her home. We basically knew zero about. All right? And what they knew, they had only recently learned through their mother, who had lied to them for the first 13 years of their lives, saying that their dad was dead to avoid discussion about it. He had sent things, and she returned them. Even after opening, this was one of the stories we were told during our candlelight dinners, which were meant to bring out, things that are harder to talk when you've got the glare of light knowing everybody's looking at you. You might feel a little less intimidated in candlelight, which is what we had been taught. So we went with that. All right. Told us that right in front of them, a Christmas package was opened. And items were actually named from those years past that were seen by both kids. And then the mother, which seems very cruel to me, put them back in the box and sent them back. Okay, like, seeing this is enough. So right there she's rejecting the parent, for one thing, rejecting, what do you want to call it, assistance? I don't think maybe gifts are called assistance, usually. I don't know what to call it. All right. At one point had returned $200 to us with a note that she didn't need money, that they didn't use or didn't have a use for the money. On the website, they say they take all or close to all of a person's wealth. We back up to before they got there. And she had access to finding out about him. All right. So either she knew about John's 1985 accusation, which was dropped and there was no record of it we could find, or didn't care. All right. But she didn't warn us with the information she later in 95, after the false accusations, she typed in a letter to the prosecutor and the social worker. That same information that she told them that I've shown online should have been given to us as a warning. Like, I'm sending my daughter to your house, but, okay, she gets kind of randy with the men. She's been caught groping one of them that had to speak out against it, about it. She was caught masturbating on the floor. And I always think it's the Sunday school room floor because it was the preacher that caught her. But maybe I'm wrong there, Maybe I'm wrong a lot of wheres. But none of them over all this time that I've been bringing this out since 1997 have stepped up to the plate and commented anything about anything that I've stated or said. Nada. So with that comes silence is consent. All right? I've been arguing their supposed points for that long. Okay? Didn't get a warning. The daughter, when she did go to make her report, well, it was at school. It just came out kind of awkwardly, like she came in and told us that afternoon, after she returned to the house after her report, which is another doozy, because at that point, the social worker and the juvie officer should have said, oh no, we're not going to let you go back there. You just told us all this stuff happens to you. Why would we let you go back there? Get that? Yeah. How backwards is that? Okay. Did this deposition or report after the girls and her, whom she was the oldest of because of homeschool in Iowa versus Missouri standards, she should have been in the 8th grade, but Missouri stuck her in the 6th. Okay? So you might think of that when you homeschool your kids. If they ever do start public school, what grade are they going to get stuck in? You see what I'm saying? And they're talking boyfriend and girlfriend. This is a story, as I mentioned. She returned that afternoon after school after being clear into Marshall, Missouri, 32, 34 miles away north, making her report. Comes in telling us this. Well, we were talking girlfriend and boyfriend, and I didn't really have one, so I said Dad and I slept together. Hello? She said, but I was kidding. But the girls took it to the office, to the counselor, and she called family services. And they took her from the school grounds. As I stated, one of their doctors didn't contact any parent. And see, too, she had made a report on me which was unsubstantiated. So they came about her to our house. The thing was, she was supposed to be able to talk to her mother on the phone. And I'm like, I have no problem with that. They could have done that already. Excuse me. The mother hadn't contacted her for 6 months. Okay? Speaking of that, 6-month thing, she was initially there on a trial basis for 6 months. Or no, wait, was it 6 weeks? I just wish I really knew when they arrived. I don't have that information. Anyway, I think it might have been 6 weeks. And at the end of 6 weeks, we were to return her to the commune so that they could discuss whether or not she was going to get permanent placement with her dad as primary caregiver through a divorce decree modification in Iowa, which we attended. I was with them. Okay? If she had a problem, and I'll never believe she had a problem with her dad, her problem was with me, or instead of reporting me that occasion that she did, she would have reported him firstly and foremostly. And what sprung her report on me was that I had called the cops over to the house about her. Do you see where this is, how this is barrel rolled, dominoed, snowballed? I called them on her. They were over there lickety-split. I got to give it to the Sedalia police right then for prompt, because that was prompt. All right? I didn't discuss it with John or my mother or anyone that I was going to do it. I just up and did it, because there for those amount of weeks, however long it was, both my mother and John repeatedly told me that it was all in my head when I brought things up about her. But once my mother got to know her, she kind of liked her. You know, it's just a kid, Veronica. You know, don't worry so much about it. You're making something out of this you don't even need to make out of it. Which later we found out I wasn't making just something out of it. All right. And she started taking her to church. Well, she asked almost immediately if she was going to go to church anywhere. And we kicked that around a while and came up with that she would just either ride with my parents or get on the bus, you know, with the church bus would pick them up. So it worked both ways. They did both things. And then went out to dinner a lot afterwards, after church. Or had the potluck at church. Okay? Gave her the little Avon things. You know, my mom was the Avon lady. It's all about make nice. You know, something to feel good about being a girl. I bought her clothes as soon as we could, because we had projects lined up for that old house. So just rushing out to buy a bunch of new clothes just wasn't part of the plan at that point. She had to wait till we could finish one project, which was going to serve us all. And at that point, it was the insulation for the house. Okay? And then it was a patio cover, you know, for the shade. Patio furniture for the relaxation. Alright, so clothes just wasn't right up there numero uno. What happened was my mother went home, went in the attic, and found some of these kinds of things that don't just really go out of style, like jeans and t-shirts and just regular shirts for girls. And brought over some, you know, quite a good selection that she had saved from me when I was like a size 7. Okay? We're saying, well, you know, they're not new, but they're good and they're clean. And I don't think kids at school are really going to mind that you're not strutting style, you know, seeing where you come from and came with holes and this and that, not really even anything great. I mean, this is like 3 steps up from what you came with. But I didn't say all that. I just, here you go. And we had a friend that went through her daughter's closet and took out some stuff she knew she didn't ever wear anymore. So I said, how about you wear that pretty little sundress to school? Tomorrow will be the first day of school. You'll want to look really nice. But it was wrinkled. So I said, all right, get the ironing board out, press it real quick, I'll be ready for the morning. What she do? She deliberately burns an iron hole in it. Big old scorch thing with a hole in it. I said, you know what? You're going to wear that anyway. You're not getting out of wearing that. You're going to wear it. You'll learn. Well, I'm running out of time, so I'll have to upload this and come back. But thanks for listening.